Provincial General Council. It is in Northwest, it is in Mahikeng. I am the director of the day. They are called program directors in other languages. In others, they are called master of ceremonies. Here I am looking at my honorable seat of national office bearers, our communication office, and I'm looking at the delegates as respectfully as possible that they will be here. I am also looking at guests in our midst, and because I do not do welcomes, I direct the program. I ask that we begin with agenda item 1. I am called Makazen. The surname I use is called Mudise. I am of Ntekele born, Mutonga, Osira. Therefore, the program begins now. So we are at agenda item 1. As we stand together to sing the national anthem, and we give it the necessary attention it deserves.
Kosi sikeleli Afrika, malupakanyi subondolwayo, izwa imitandazo yetu. Kosi sikeleli
Thank you very much for honoring the national anthem. We now, as we speak, the welcome, and it is done by myself, Makazen. I hereby welcome the national office bearers. Thank you very much for being the lovely people you are here this morning. Thank you very much, honorable guests, our earlier president before the now. And thank you very much for honoring the invitation, and also Chairperson yourself too. My honorable provincial officials, thank you very much for being here, and our guests from the Northern Cape, our sponsors present, speakers of the day present, the delegates as large, thank you very much for being here and honoring the invitation. You are most welcome, all of you. In the total story, this morning I get to work with Cape Town. who is the president of the country? Yes, kita buat yang kalau president tu macam orang papan nak khatele, kalau level ni nak kena ada disengagement. Nah, ayam tu nak umar. Now I ask a beautiful girl, very beautiful. No, so that girl is coming. Yo, I ask her, who's the president of the country? And it's Jacob Zuma. And it's now I became Mozart Africans get the as the president for the land. Aban Karabakas today I'm new in South Africa. The last time I was in South Africa was 2024. It was the 5th of October 2024. Therefore, I do not remember him or her. Now, hands get to the ticket we send a letter to her. If we get a letter with Pilisa, Sekolah Sidiru, I guess, Secretary, I get a Rama, Lotes, and Pate. If we get the president of the country, get a one baby. I have no master of organization. Now, can I to represent the country? As a component of our states of the welcome message. Everyone, thanks very much for honoring the platform. You're most welcome. So I ask Comrade Tapelo David Mokashwa, Deputy Provincial Chairperson of Northwest, to do the introduction of the national office bearers, at the same time introduction of the guest, Comrade Tapelo. Uleganya nakasele sa nasabo sishangane sako asende. Tapelo.
Viva Nupso, viva!
Viva!
Viva Safto, viva!
Viva!
Viva Safto, viva!
Viva!
Viva Northern Cape, viva!
Viva!
Viva GPF, viva!
Viva!
Viva Supol, viva!
Viva!
Distinguished guests, honorable members, Tafore Biwang Ya National. Saka Fela Sisikitwani is to introduce the guest. On my left side, Renali one was the first one came first deputy president, Comrade Kabela Sipiwe.
Amanda! Viva Northern Cape, viva! Viva! Viva Western Cape, viva!
Viva!
Viva Comrade Mukaila, viva!
Viva!
Viva Safto, viva!
Viva!
Viva GPF, viva!
Viva!
Viva Old Newsman, viva!
Viva!
Viva Asupol, viva!
Viva!
Viva Nupso, viva!
Viva!
Viva Nupso, viva!
Viva!
Amanda!
Away, two! Comrade first deputy president. Our president, the Honorable one, Daniso Titus.
Viva Nupso, viva!
Viva!
Qina msebenzi, qina!
Viva!
Qina Safto, qina!
Viva!
Amanda!
Away, two!
Thank you very much.
Democracy eberetana ka bogare e re balance agenda e be re na le mother of them all, Comrade Maredi Ruth, our second deputy president.
Ay hule, bukoni mpirima ay hule, bukoni mpirima ay hule. Viva Safto, viva! Viva Safto, viva! Viva Nupso, viva! Viva Comrade Mukaila, viva!
Thank you, mother of them all. To the engine of this organization, the big machine. Honorable Soli Malema, the GS.
Away, jump,
Anta,
away, two. Viva, Mukonimu Pirima, viva, viva. Hola, Mukonimu Pirima, hola. Viva Safto, viva, viva. Viva Nupso, the big machine, viva, viva. Thank you.
ke a go leboga GS e be gender gape sempe e balansa gape re nna le the young blood Tebogo Kulate, Deputy General Secretary.
I khole bokele bophirima I khole Northwest I khole viva Lupso viva viva Safety viva viva the leadership of bokele bophirima viva
Ke a go leboga e be re nna le motshwara matlotlo our treasure ke mokwana Lekgowa not single same empty over to you
Amanda viva Northwest viva I gole Northwest I gole viva comrade Ignatius viva viva comrade Kabadi viva viva the leadership of Northwest viva
ke go lebogile nt go ra gore ga re go ke tala for today ke ya to our guest again re na le our former president in the sphere comrade Mokaila Kagiso
Viva Lupso viva viva Lupso viva viva Safto viva
ke a go leboga former press e be re nna le lesego le go tshwara the body sama body ya rona ntate Kavari Saftu chairperson of the province.
Viva Northwest, viva! Viva Northwest, viva! Viva Saftu, viva! Viva Saftu, viva! Viva Lupso, viva! Phambili basebenzi, phambili!
Ke a go leboga chair e be re nna le our sponsors ga ke ba bone but currently re na le member from GEPF Ellen Smanga Selemeni
Viva Saftu, viva!
Thank you. Other sponsors will be joining us as the program. Oh, ke ra dilo hira khoso etong. E be re nna le communication officers tsa rona le photographer. Re na le Lebete Neo, comrade Lebete Neo. Thank you, comrade Neo. E be re nna le photographer ya rona ena Mtombeni Keswell. Other guests there that are already introduced. Oh, ke ratile go ira phoso ba go baka re na le ba emba rona go tlhaga Northern Cape that are joining us as the observers. Re na le Comrade Ditsipi Orateng as Provincial Secretary of Northern Cape.
viva Saftu viva viva Lupso viva
Ke go lebogile o tswere ke motshwara matlotlo NT wena tlhoko gore tšhelete ga e bereke mo province ya Northwest ba budgetetswe ke a go leboga e be re nna le Marman Tebogo PT
Amanda viva Saftu viva
honorable guests, honorable members, all you are welcome here to participate in this provincial general council. I think that's all.
leadership Jumela
thanks very much to the provincial deputy chair. We are now running faster than earlier, and we ask now the general secretary of the national NUPSO. Kana yana hare provincial only high standard people. Baba serious. Comrade Malema, the stage is yours. So we welcome Comrade Malema to take over. As Comrade is coming, Ngadimeng house pele kebatu nkedia ya repanyana ki.
Nupso itile matata. Nupso itile matata.
Thank you, Program Director. Let me first greet the leadership, national office bearers, our President, Comrade Daniso, our First Deputy President, Comrade Kabela, our Second Deputy President, Comrade Baredi. We call him Second DP Sport because she's got two heads. Remember, she's also the Second Deputy President in SAFTU, our federation that we love so much. Our DGS, Comrade Gulate, our NT, Comrade Lokoa, Comrade Lokoa, Program Director. Allow me also to recognize our former President, Comrade Mukaila. I was told that the SAFTU NT will be here as well. I'm not sure if she's in our midst, but I'm also recognizing her. We also recognize SAFTU in the province, led by the chair, the PGC collective, led by the chairperson, Comrade Magazan, and the PS, Comrade Moheta, the Northern Cape PT and PS, the REC members present here, our social partners present, our staff present here, because they are playing an important role. We are here because this event is a success because of them. They've done very well in terms of organizing this event. Our communication office, our social partners present here. Program Director, my job today is very simple, is to outline the purpose of this very important gathering. We need to utilize this PGC to deal with the proposed amendments which will go to the NGC. Not only proposed amendments to the Constitution, but also to the policies. And comrades, we are doing this for good governance. We are not proposing amendments for dubious things, but for good governance. This meeting, comrades, is convened in terms of clause 23 of our Constitution. And I believe all the delegates present here do have our Constitution. In terms of today's business of the day, clause 23 of the Constitution reads, The Provincial General Council of the Union shall consist of the Provincial Executive Council and the Regional Executive Councils in respective provinces. It reads also, the business of the PGC shall be to receive and confirm the credentials of the delegates. This is a very critical a clause in our constitution, because we need to make sure that all members or all the people who are present here are members of the union in good standing, so that the decisions that will be taken in this important gathering are not challenged in future, or we protect the organization. It reads to receive and otherwise deal with the minutes of the previous provincial congress and any special provincial congress. In this case, we will have one set of minutes because there was no special congress in Mukoli. To consider the report from the provincial secretary. So the provincial secretary's report is the PEC report. Because comrades need to understand that it is not only his report, it is the PEC report, which we believe that the PEC members went through the report and the report was adopted in the PEC. Having said that, comrades, it will be unusual to see a PEC member challenging his own report in this gathering. We are expecting members who are not PEC members to do that. And there are platforms where PEC members engage, deliberate, and agree, because we must agree to disagree, not like we agree all the time. It happens, but we need to be principled in terms of doing that. To receive and confirm the audited financial statements of the province. We are a trade union movement that accounts to its members. Very transparent. And we normally say, you touch workers' money, there's no political solution. We can only have political solutions on other matters, but not on workers' money. And we are very serious about that. We need to respect workers' monies at all times. Because when we were elected there, it's a big responsibility. You might take it light, but it's a big responsibility, Comrade Chair and President. Because what the members are saying to you, they're saying, we are electing you, and we are giving you this precious thing at this level. After 5 years, you must come back and account. And we can assure you, without any fear, that we will deliver this organization in 2027 intact. And we want Northwest to work hard like other provinces. We want the growth in this province. After this PGC, Comrade Chair and PS, we want to see mass occupations of hospitals and clinics, mass occupation of public departments, mass occupation in the mines, because there's Rustenburg mines there. Fortunately, you saw the judgment that was in our favor there by Parisa Mines. Yes. So that judgment is very critical because it protects us. Because many employers were challenging us in terms of our scope. And we felt that we need to take this matter very serious. And now, at least, the judgment is out there and is in our favor. It's a victory to this organization. To recommend union policies, this is what I was explaining. that we need to recommend union policy for good governance. Very important. So your recommendations will go to the NGC, National General Council, which will be held next year, February, somewhere around the 22nd of February. So that's where we will consolidate all the recommendations of provinces to transact general business of which at least 14 days prior notice has been given, which the PC considers to be urgent for the attention of the PGC. We need to read this constitution and understand it. It's not only about the interpretation, but also about the application. Very important. Now, what does this clause tell us? It tells us that if there's an urgent matter, 14 days before this PGC, the PEC must sit and deliberate on this matter. And it says you cannot come in the PGC and raise your hand and say, this is what I want to raise in this PGC, and I want the PGC to deliberate on. So we need to read this constitution, understand it in terms of the application and also in terms of the interpretation and application. The PGC shall meet on the third year after the provincial congress of respective province. We are the union that always complies with our constitution. This is the year of the PGCs. That's why we are here. We are complying with our constitution. Because failure to do so, the register will be on top of you. This union can be deregistered by failure of us to comply with our own constitution. That's why many unions are deregistered. Some are placed under administration. It's because they fail the register, it will moor you with your own constitution. Can you imagine the embarrassment? Your own constitution. So it is important, comrades, that we comply fully with our own constitution. And we always say this constitution is not a cast in stone, because there are platforms where this constitution can be amended, which this is one of the process. If there are clauses that are making us to fight all the time because we are interpreting it differently, this is the platform where we will correct those clauses for good governance. The majority of the members present shall form the quorum. We will be dealing with the peers, we will present the credentials here, and if members present here are in good standing and they are forming a quorum, then this PGC will proceed. So that is the business of the PGC in a nutshell, Comrade Chair. And we wish you a successful PGC. Amanda. Lastly, Comrade Chair and PS, my office has delegated the national organizer to come here. Hence, I'm saying after this PGC, we want mass occupations, massive recruitment campaigns, because we have realized that the province is not growing. And this time around it will grow. Without fear or favor, we are growing peers and chair. So what we need to do, let's make sure we launch all our structures from the institutional level, because comrades, sometimes I fail to understand these branches sitting, but there are no reports from the institutions. What are these comrades going to talk about? Because we must talk about what? Workers' issues. is very critical. So you are meeting as a region, there are no reports from the branches. What are you talking about? You are meeting as the PEC, there are no reports coming from the region. What are you talking about? Because the Constitution talks about workers, from this logo up until to the end. Workers. Because we are not here for our own jacket. We are here, we exist because of workers who are our members. So if we can correct that problem, this big machine will flourish. We will build a colossal movement that nobody will stop. By following that simple process, make sure that we deepen the participation. Because this trade union movement belongs to members, not to anybody. That's why we say no one is bigger than this organization. And it must be like that. Even after we left, we must continue to do that, so that those who will come in the future, they will find a strong movement that will fight for the injustice. More so that we are currently in the GNU and we don't know, the future is uncertain. So it is very important that we build this strong trade union movement. Amanda! Thank you very much, Chair.
Thank you very much, the General Secretary. When I'm out of the we were with this General Secretary. Aring Kilan now, Pagela Kiguale Kopi Anani, Yanon Sandela message Yana Moyana Kawarata Kipopa Obala in South Marella. President Kopi Annan sent me a message this morning, but I couldn't remember so well, therefore I'll read the message. You are not and never too young to lead, and you should never doubt your capacity to triumph where others have not. The Pagela Kofina and Anani send a message. Nelesio actually some potential possibilities. The Pagela and some fear. So thank you, General Secretary, for that. And now we are on the top again. Can another way I'm on top going forward again. The more top again, Haribisa, the GEP. I thought we had 2 points. I didn't see the pizza again. I got this thing at a salute. It's a sunlight. I take 10 to this story and the pizza. It's in the sunlight, 10 to just around it. But all the Belacatone, Resmanga, Selemeni, Fat one. It's over the Belela. I forgot to say this one. My president, you will bear with me. Now, when he talks about 2 pots, don't take another one outside. Leave them at 2. And don't increase them to 3 pots. Now 4 pots, 5 pots. Bare, if you are a phone and I'm calling that, I don't know the shut. And I have a phone and I'm a head of war, I so allow you, please come, rest manga, and do the right things as you go on top, as you take the stage. Thank you.
Mali, asina mali, asina
Thank you very much, comrades, to the NOBs of UPSO, the Provincial Leadership Collective. Let me appreciate this opportunity to interface with your members on such a very crucial issue. And I enjoyed the song. But in response to that, please know that your pension fund is very liquid. Just from the annual report presented by PIC this past week, we have generated in this economy that is not growing, we're able to generate 70 billion rands. We somehow are approaching 2.4 trillion. But the rest you will get when the annual report of the GPF, because remember PIC was issuing a report on behalf of 87% of their work comes from the GPF, and then you've got UIF and smaller and compensation fund. So once we release our report, you will appreciate how we are performing, having been heavily invested domestically, and while the economy is not performing, we are able to maneuver ourselves and be able to make those huge amounts in this depressed economy. Now, my purpose today is to update you on the two-pot retirement system. I guess by now, different from when we were in Limpopo, we're still approaching the 1st of September. So my presentation at that point was to outline what this two-pot retirement system entails, just to give people a sense, because at that point there were so many discussions around what is it about. So today, having been in this dispensation for the past just over 30 days, I am happy to report to you that by yesterday we have received 256,000 applications for withdrawals in the savings pot to the value of about 7 billion rand. So this Akuna Mali will change to Sinemali, because we are pumping 7 billion rand into the economy. We have started paying on the 26th of September, though it was very trickling down to a few. We are jacking up our systems so that we should be able to pay even in less than those 60 days that are provided for by the law. So this week, the past week, and this coming week, your phones will be very busy. Every morning when you wake up, there will always be a notification so that we change the song to Sinemali from Asinamali. Now, having said that, we also want to apologize that we did you badly on the 2nd of September, on Monday, 2nd of September. We have had teething problems when we first started because the intention was to make sure that the application process differs with when you resign or when you go on retirement. Now, we have since jacked up all our platforms to receive applications. Hence, by yesterday, we have had a 250,000 of our members, of our 1.3 million members, having applied for the withdrawals. Now, one important issue around payments, that you know that payments are dependent. We would have wanted to pay as soon as you apply that you get your money. However, because of how this two-part system is conceptualized, when we receive your application, once we are done doing our own administration, because remember, like we indicated, every withdrawal that you make will have an impact on your service, pensionable service. So from time to time when you withdraw, we need to reduce your pensionable service by an equivalent period of the amount that you are withdrawing. Now, once we have done that, we also need to make SARS aware that you are making a withdrawal, so that SARS can then take Singwenyana Sayo Namu and also verify your banking details. The banking details that we have are those banking details that we got from PESA. But we need to verify them to say, is this person who's withdrawing here the same person who you have in your records? So we have had, today we have had about 6 rejections. One rejection was from SARS. Now it baffles us. Why would SARS, when you are withdrawing, decide not to issue out a directive? But the reality is that the reason why the person was rejected is because he has not registered as a taxpayer. You may be at a salary level where you are not supposed to do your returns. But for this purpose, what SARS told us was that each and every person who's going to do a withdrawal must register for tax. So we need to inform our members that that could be one of the reasons that will delay your payment, because until such time you have registered with SARS, we will not be able to pay you without a tax directive. And this is not a secret, and every time when I get into this discussion, I'm saying when the national leadership makes these speeches, let's analyze them correctly to find out what these speeches mean. If you go back to the Minister of Finance budget vote in February, he made a pronouncement in that speech to say in the 2024-2025 budget, they are projecting to get about 8 billion rands from those who are going to be withdrawing from the two-pot retirement system. And we all clapped, not analyzing what does that mean. Now, what it has meant is that each withdrawal that you are making, you will have to share that with SARS at a nominal rate. Secondly, towards the end, what actually brought us here today is that because of this new environment of two-pot retirement system, there has been, on the 10th of September, we issued out a government gazette to update our rules so that our rules talks to this new dispensation. We published that government gazette to make all our members aware that there has been, I will just touch on two. The first rule that we needed to amend has to do with the split between gratuity and annuity that we pay to you when you retire. Please note retirement and not resignation. When you reach the age of retirement at 60 or at 65, when you retire, you are entitled to two forms of payment. The gratuity, or the one you refer to as lump sum, and monthly pension. Now, what used to happen in the GPF before the 1st of September was that the split between those two payments was that you get 25% of your total pension as a lump sum, and 75% thereof then buys you monthly pension for life. Now, what that means, for example, if you have 1,250,000 will be paid to you as a lump sum, and the remaining 750 will then buy you monthly pension. Now, with this new dispensation, it has forced us to change that split. Because in terms of the two-pot retirement system, the savings pot contains 33% of your savings, or a 1/3 of your contributions. And the retirement pot contains 2/3 or 67% of your savings. Now, what then that does is that we needed to update our split so that while in the past, out of your million will give you 250,000 as a lump sum, now with this dispensation, we will give you 330,000 as a lump sum, and the 670,000, unlike in the past where it was 750,000, the 670,000 will then buy you monthly pension. What that has done is that it has increased your lump sum but reduced your monthly pension. However, you are allowed, when you retire, to then move money out of your savings pot if you do not need that 330,000 in that example, and put it in the retirement pot to increase your monthly pension. What is not allowed is to move money from your retirement pot into the savings pot. So you can still decide that I do not need 330,000 as a lump sum. I only need 150,000 because I have done most of the things I don't need. I need a sustainable income on a monthly basis so that at least your monthly pension goes up. You can do that. But if you do not do that and you rely on that split, it then means you will get a much higher kumpa but a lower monthly pension. The second one, lastly, the second one is that in the past, in the GPF, we used to make a distinction between when you have less than 10 years of pensionable service and when you have 10 years and more. So that distinction was that with less than 10 years, say you joined the government at the age of 53, and at 60 you are supposed to go on a retirement. It means you will have 7 years of pensionable service. So in the past, what used to happen is that we will then pay you as if you are going on a resignation, give you everything, and you are not then entitled to the second form of payment, which is monthly annuities or monthly pension. That's what used to happen before the 1st of September. And with 10 years and more, you are then entitled to those two forms of payment, which is gratuity and annuities. Now, with this two-part retirement system, because it says anything that goes into the retirement pot and it's more than 165,000 by the time you exit, that money must then buy you monthly annuities or monthly pension. It therefore means for every working South African, you are then going to be entitled to monthly pension, whether you've got 10 years or less of service. We will no longer be able to do that distinction like we used to do before. So this is the information that you may need to share with your members, because then it means all of us, unlike in the past, will have monthly pension for life from the GPF, which then would put a certain financial burden on the fund to then take care of all its 1.2 million members with monthly pension, depending on how much one would have saved. Whereas in the past it was only those with 10 years and more. Now every member who has accumulated in his or her retirement pot more than 165,000 will then be entitled to a monthly pension. Thank you very much. This is the information that I had for you. I know it could be confusing, but in your institutions and your branch meetings and so on, we are available to explain it in much more detail and have that interaction. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Rasmanga. But it is proper juice. No English is play around with juice. You call it juice again. That's English. Thank you very much, Rasmanga. I've just postponed my meeting with the president. This is too serious. No? President Cyril asked me for a company and I will never get it. Okay, you postpone a meeting. Now, come Monday, I'm meeting this other one. It is called Coretta Scott King. Yanana Coretta Scott will be discussing this matter. The matter is saying, when you are willing to sacrifice for great cause specifically, again, that's what I say, for great cause, you will never be alone. You know, it's about walk alone, you will not walk alone. Don't let it. Comrade Mukaila. I so now invite Comrade Mukaila to come and talk to us a message of support. And this specific Comrade Mukaila, lay Comrade David Kaburi, when they come forward, you will never walk alone. Now they come together. Now I told them something, I'll be next to them. This is like too many. One of them got another story. Comrade Mukaila, you're welcome. Comrade Kaburi, you will follow immediately after him. Thank you very much for message of support.
Presidente Tumela, Tumela. Tumela, Tumela. Presidente Tumela, Tumela.
Viva Nupso, viva!
Viva!
Viva Nupso, viva!
Viva!
Viva the NOBs, viva!
Viva!
Viva Northwest, viva!
Viva!
Program Director, thank you very much for giving me this opportunity. The President of the National Union of Public Service and Allied Workers, Comrade Titus Daniso. The First Deputy President, Comrade Gabela. Second Deputy, Comrade Maredi. The GS, DGS, NT, Comrade Malema. SAFTU representatives. Greetings, dear comrades. I would like to express my sincere appreciation to both the provincial leadership and national leadership for allowing me to join you here today. I'm not going to take the limelight from you, President. I know it is your turn. As we meet here today, comrades, I trust that this leadership, which is here, is not just going to tick the boxes to say we did the PGC. Now, the next issue would be the Provincial Congress. I hope that all of us as the leadership are going to give credence to the Constitution by recommending policy that would be objective and not subjective. When you recommend, President, policy that is subjective, it centers around you. Once you leave, the first thing that the people would do, they would amend everything that you came up with. So if we do policy that is objective, we are doing it even for those generations and generations that would come after us. That is what objectivity means. If we do policy, it should not be about us, but the people that we are leading. President and the NOBs, I want to talk about two pillars that NUPSO takes seriously. It says we should endeavor at all times to have worker participation in decision making. The second one says we should ensure a culture of democratic decision-making at all levels. The reason why I'm mentioning this too is that the leadership that is sitting here with us, they are not representing themselves. It means whatever is going to be the policy formulation that has been discussed, like you alluded to, Comrade GS, from the branches, from the institutions. Otherwise, we will be self-centered and very selfish if we didn't consult from the lower levels. NUPSO continues to be seen as the national democratic big machine that does not fear the employer, both in the public and private sectors. Otherwise, if we fear the employer, comrades, we would lose the political relevance to be a trade union, and no members would want to come and join us. I want to remind you that NUPSO was started on the 13th August 1998. And even up to now, we are still relevant because we are pursuing the worker issues. I also want to remind you about what Karl Marx says. Without the presence of class warfare, trade unions would be hard to justify their existence. That is what Karl Marx is saying, quote unquote. We should not be a trade union that prides itself in designer t-shirts only. Our biggest role should be in representing the members. A weak NUPSO at the provincial level, President, at Northwest. If Northwest provincial, NUPSO is weak. It means this weakness, it is also going to affect the national demographics as we know them. A weak NUPSO national, it is going to destabilize SAFTU, which is our federation. So all of us are important in ensuring that NUPSO nationally becomes the biggest machine and SAFTU becomes the federation to be feared. Program Director, unfortunately, we cannot just sit here and ignore what is happening internationally. If we say we are a campaigning trade union, we should be aware what is happening in the Middle East. As part of the PSI, we cannot leave everything to the PSI to come up with programs about the issues of the Middle East. Without preempting what this PGC is going to formulate as policy. This is just a stark reminder of what is happening in the Middle East, irrespective of who started what, who retaliated. But the bottom line is, we cannot just sit and hope that the war in the Middle East will end without us making our voices heard internationally. As I speak today, Comrade President, it is said that by the 23rd of September, 43,431 people perished in the war between Palestine and Israel. The unfortunate part is that 15,456 are children and women. You ask yourself, what has women and children got to do with the war? The reason why I'm saying we cannot just sit and say it does not concern us. This is aptly captured by a German philosopher, Nimula, who said, first they came for the socialists. I did not speak out because I was not a socialist. Then they came for the trade unionists. I did not speak out because I was not a trade unionist. Then they came for the Jews. I did not speak because I consider myself not to be a Jew. Finally, they came for me, and there was no one to speak for me. I'm just quoting Nimula to say that we cannot just sit and say the war in Middle East does not concern us. We need to do something. The war between Russia and Ukraine does not concern us. It does. As part of the global economy, whatever is happening internationally, it affects us economically. As I conclude, President, every national leadership, ever since the 13th of August 1998, there has never been any leadership in NUPSO where a member from Northwest was not part of the NOBs. So it is not because we are trying to balance the gender issue. When Tebogo Kulate is the GGS. This is the trend that has been followed by NUPSO because they know, however small this province is, we produce credible leadership. I'm not going to blow my own trumpet, you know where I come from. But I want to say, even the first SAFTU treasurer is from this province and from NUPSO. So I don't think all of us that are here, how we take serious. You don't know where you belong. You don't belong to NUPSO Northwest. What I'm saying is that there is potential in Northwest. Let's use it to grow this unit. Because a skewed growth, it is going to affect us. We also want to see ourselves one day. And this is not just a dream that cannot happen. It can. We might find ourselves one day as Northwest hosting the National Congress. We know the dynamics of hosting the Congress. The biggest province hosts the Congress. If we just said every time comrades, reputation is not going to grow this unit. President, two deputy president, deputy general secretary. That reputation is not going to grow this unit. We need to start campaigning. And when we campaign, all of us, we cannot be a leadership that sits in the boardroom whilst our members we don't want a leadership e sa batleng go tlala leswe. Let's continue to be a force to be reckoned with. No retreat, no surrender. Just to steal from the now defunct federation that we once affiliated to. Victory is certain. Once again, President and the entire leadership, ke rata go tsaya tšhono ya go lo leboga gore lo ba yo mphile tšhono ya gore le nna ke feel gore I still belong to NUPSO. Pula. Pula. Thank you.
Thank you very much. You get Comrade Mokaila Arike, the next president. He said it at that time. Comrade David Kaburi, please come. Comrade Mokaila said I'm the next president. And so I accept.
Viva NUPSO, viva! Viva! Thank you, Program Director. I don't know how to start. Indicates the notes. I'd like to thank you to invite me to this gathering. I needed to talk about few things because Ndate Makaila touched on what I want to talk to. But I will not talk to that. I wanted to talk about the two-pot system, but with that two-pot system, I will not talk to that. Comrades, it's a great pleasure to all of us here, as leaders, to come to this gathering. But this gathering is just not a normal gathering. It's a gathering that you are coming here to come and take decisions about the future of the working class on the ground. We should remember that. Because usually, as leaders, we don't consider people who elected us to be here. And it's very important, comrades, that we should bear in mind, know that we are elected, we are sent by workers. But every day, but the subscription is all to be where we are today. Those workers are very important than us. Because if it was not because of those workers, let us be honest. If it was not because of those workers, those workers are very important. Comrades, in terms of recruitment, comrades, I usually like to say, now I'm not a NUPSO member, but it's a market form of the NUPSO president. I'm recruiting where I'm going. Where I am, teachers, none teacher who that I'm busy recruiting. I will soon bring forms to you, President. And the other thing is, let us not recruit, because usually I recruit and then we forget one thing. Service of members. Comrade, you cannot buy a car and not service that car. How do you think that car will take you to the next level if you don't service the car? Because what happens in this province, in the last Congress, I said in my speech, I said, let us go and recruit. But when I look at the states, we didn't grow much. We didn't grow. Because what happens, we recruit to forget those who have been recruited and move forward. It's not the right way to do. A leader must recruit and service members. But we know that people will leave this issue of servicing members to the organizers. Sub-steward, side steward must service those members. The members that you get on comrades. If you want this union to grow, if you want companies to give us recognition agreements, you must go and recruit. Because nowadays, it's because of numbers. They look at numbers. If you don't have numbers, they don't recognize you. We did have 2 matches in Bokodibu period of EPWP. Kanakoyaha, DGS, Comrade Moleko, and Kadiwane Happy this year, that May. What happens is, we don't do follow-ups. I recruited the EPWP, but we don't do follow-ups in terms of our memorandum. Because actually, we EPWP, but we do nothing. We sit down and wait. Because I mean, if you said we give you 7 days, that 7 days becomes 7 days. But we don't do that. We just sit down and say, but it's fine. It's very important, comrades, that a leader must read. Comrade President, if you have leaders who doesn't read, I'm not happy to get a comrade. But happy to because they don't read, they don't understand, they don't know what is happening around them. Comrade, it was not a mistake. How remember Marcella Union Bill? It was not a mistake. It was not a mistake. Sharpeville massacre, it was not a mistake. It was not a mistake. June 16. Those youth it was not a mistake already. It was to liberate us. But what are we doing now? Hey, Romanari boss. Mansibuwari will negotiate and then Mansibuwara will not the whiskey them all. Forget about the working class. We must change how we do things. Because we are not growing. South Street is not growing, comrade. Let us be honest, South Street is not growing. And South Street, people are taking South Street left and right. And what are we doing? We are doing nothing. And I like what the General Secretary was saying, to say campaigns, let's go back and recruit. Let's go and recruit. You must go gazebos to each and every institution and go and recruit. You must have a program to recruit comrades, and then you must come back, because usually what I ask to the president, every week, one member must bring you one form. One member, one for every week. You will grow. Because they don't care. Ka growth they are wrong. Retumela Nupso will travel us, take us to Cape Town. People are saying, take us, but they don't care about going and recruit. In the same place, they don't recruit them. Comrade, the issue of the scope is a very sensitive issue. People are fighting about the issue of the scope, right? And so, in kind of member that are mining, but it's not about that. If you don't service members, comrade, go and service those members. If NUMSO is servicing members and NUMSO is not servicing members, why should we cry? Because it's about servicing members. That's why I say service is a very important issue that we must do to our members if we want to grow. And comrade, the issue of us going to meetings, coming back and not giving report back is very bad. Friday in a sub to local. The chairperson of SAFTU local comes from NUMSO, but comrade disappeared. Up to today, I called meeting, he didn't come. No. Then how much of Congress is there? How much it's useless, it's no use, comrade, to attend meetings above and then only about where you are. Because it's very important to almost this Carizona nation. Leave the NEC, the national meetings. Because those people elected you. And it's about us as leaders to ask ourselves a question. What type of a leader do I want to be? And what about a leader? Because comrade, a leader can constitute to do. That's what you are about. Constitute to do. People will give you names. People will talk about you. And if you are a leader, you will know what to do. Comrade, I think I said I need to talk more about other things, but really, in terms of time, because if I look at my programs, we're supposed to, this session, the first session is supposed to be ended long ago. So with those few words, comrade, I thank the leadership of the province, national leadership, and the guests. Thank you.
Comrade David Kavari, standing here listening to a message of support, it is an encouragement. Thank you very much for both messages of support. We now ask messages from our sponsors, and in this regard, we allow now Comrade Mpo Morake, who is the area manager, together le comrade, or le branch manager, le comrade, so, but the speaker now will be Comrade Mpo Morake. 3 days after my wedding, Comrade Morake, in 1998, ke batlile ke nyala go ga bo Morake. Thank you very much. You take the stage.
Amanda. Amanda. Pambili, Saftu Pambili. Pambili, Numso Pambili. Pambili, Basebenzi Pambili. Thank you, Program Director. Let me recognize the presence of the national leadership or representative from national office, the provincial leadership, all the members, I greet you all this morning. So, Kalina Kim Pomerake, I'm the area manager for Mutual, and I am also responsible for the provincial relationships. And I am not alone today, colleagues. I am with my colleague Son Bilega, who is our branch manager here in Mafikeng. So it is a privilege for me to be given this opportunity to come and share a word or two with you. We don't usually get this kind of allowance. Usually when we say we want to come and talk to the members, the first thing that people think of is we want to serve. And we appreciate that you have given us the opportunity so that we can come and share information of who Old Mutual is, what else over and above this thing of policies are we doing. So I've been listening to the speakers that were speaking here since the beginning of the program. And I have noted that many of them, they spoke a lot about things that we do. And maybe before I go there, I must touch on this issue of relationship. Because as Old Mutual, we value the relationship that we are living with partners. Because the truth is, no organization or no individual can survive in isolation. And because of that, we value and we continuously nourish the relationship. You know, there is a quote that I like that says, if you want to go fast, go alone. But if you want to go far, go with others. And that is what we do as Old Mutual. Hence, when we build relationships, we want to nurture those relationships, make sure that they become successful. There is a leader who said here that all of us here, we are given the responsibility to take care of the members, which is something that is very, very powerful if you think about it. We are here representing the members, and the expectation is when we leave here, we're going to go back and share the message that we would have gotten from this forum with the members. Now, as Old Mutual, we continuously do research on the finances. We have identified that South Africans, one, we are not saving. Two, we are not financially savvy. And as a result, I come here looking nice, wearing those expensive t-shirts. Somebody spoke about expensive t-shirts. But at the back of my mind, there are debts that are bothering me. I get these 087 numbers, I don't answer. Towards payday, I become the most frustrated person, but you won't see it because the picture that I'm portraying is that I am a successful person, I'm wearing those designer clothes. And because of that, many of us end up being depressed, end up resigning because we want to cash on our pension funds and close these gaps that we have created ourselves. We call them hyenas. We invite these hyenas when we get the pay slips. And we just look at the pay slip that I've got extra 5,000. Then I'm gonna go shop by shop looking for these hyenas that can come and chow this. And when they start chowing it, I become frustrated. So most of our employees are really frustrated because they find themselves in a situation where come month end, when they look at the salary that comes and the expenses, the answer they get is a minus. Now you can imagine when you are having a minus before the salary comes in, what happens? And the very same person is expected when they come to work, they must show up, they must be effective, they must deliver on what is expected from them. And usually they don't. And you will be given another responsibility now to go and represent these members when they are not delivering or when they are doing mistakes in their roles. Now, as Old Mutual, we are saying, comrades, we have what we call financial education. This financial education workshop is aimed at empowering our people. It is not a silver bullet, but what we have observed is that people who attend this workshop, they take a thing or two from that workshop, they implement it. And if we are having a relationship, a proper relationship with that organization, it could be a union or an employer, we are able to do follow-ups on these members and ensure that whatever it is that we have taught them, they implement up to a point where they are able now to manage their finances. I think we will still talk a lot about that because we would appreciate if you can invite us, give us that opportunity so that we can come and share this information with our people. We are representing breadwinners and we would want our members to become financially savvy and enjoy their work. You know, we were worried as Old Mutual when this took what thing, because there were people who were resigning. And remember, when people resign or people cash their money, it affects us most because they withdraw their investment from us. And when they leave their employed, you lose membership. So it's capacity. We are in this together. So we would want to work with you. I like what the comrade from JPF was saying. The message that I got in his speech around the 2 points is that SARS is the biggest winner. So this song that was sang this morning, that Asina Man, if we continue withdrawing, we will not change this song to cinema. It will continue being Asina Man. And SARS will be singing as cinema. So let us be careful about those things, colleagues. And we are here as Old Mutual to come and empower you about this financing. So this financial education workshop is very important. And it does not only talk about finance, it talks about a lot of things, life in general. Because most of us, when we get married, we don't check our partner's credit record. And after you sign that marriage certificate, you realize that you have married somebody who is extremely over-indebted. In fact, this person is blacklisted. They can't even enter into any credit agreement. And because you are married in community of property, that status is yours also. Again, in community it says, what's yours is mine, what's mine is yours. So you inherit the good, the bad, and the ugly. So the other thing to support our members, we have, I'm sure you would have seen that Old Mutual has been granted a license to open a bank. We are in that process at an advanced stage. But in the interim, we have our sister company, which is called Old Mutual Finance. Now, Old Mutual Finance also assists our members, those who are indebted, with consolidation and not debt review. I'm talking about consolidation. And we also have what we call credit repair for the members who are blacklisted, who can't enter into any financial or credit agreements. We are able to support those members, bring them back to at least boost their credit profile. So we also have what we call Masisiza. Now, Masisiza is a business funding arm of Old Mutual. Usually when we do the financial education workshop, we say salary alone cannot be enough. You must have those side hustles. And we are not only talking about side hustles. We are saying have a side hustle, and we have Masisiza to support that side hustle. So Masisiza, it funds business, and it does not only fund, it also supports. We do something like an incubation where we capacitate the person who's running the business to ensure that when we leave, you are able to continue running this business. Because what we have seen is that people start businesses and a year or two later, they buy Range Rover Evo and they chow the capital instead of the profit, and eventually the business dies. So we try to incubate these business people and ensure that when we need them, they are strong enough to stand on them. Now, comrade David, you mentioned something that is very important. That the leadership must continuously recruit people, but they must not forget to service. So that is very, very important. We recruit, we don't service, we eventually lose. So we act like a dead monkey which went into the field, continue plowing the millies. So you take one, you put here, you take another one, you put, and that one falls in. So eventually, you have actually gotten more than one, but when you get out, you are only left with two. So in our role also as financial advisors, we do servicing. I spoke about financial education. And when we do financial education, we want to come back and do reinforcement. Because when we do reinforcement, if there is a thing or two that you did not understand when we made the presentation, we come back and reinforce so that you get this message clear. So we would appreciate if you can invite us in your workplaces so we can, one, come and do this financial education workshop. Secondly, come and do the reinforcement so that you don't miss or you don't lose the message that we would have shared. And lastly, leadership has spoken about campaigning. We would appreciate, comrades, if we can be invited, let us be part of those campaigns. We will be there with you on the ground. We don't mind leaders to dirty our hands. In fact, that is our expertise, working the ground. So we would appreciate if you can invite us in those recruitment campaigns. And lastly, before I step off, I think we will still talk, Comrade Moeta, that we must get the calendar of events so that we also identify as social partners, where can we partner with you in the programs that we are running? So that we don't just meet when there is a PGC or there are meetings like this. There are programs that you are probably running, and we would want to come and partner. And that is how this relationship of us will grow even further. Thank you very much, leaders. And
thank you very much, Rempo. Comrades, the house is becoming full, and thank you very much for coming. I realize now the Bujanala people are here, and I also realize there are those who were delayed and those who are late. And thank you very much for coming. We appreciate your presence. President of Constitution, you make me speak English now. In the Constitution, 17.1 says, President shall preside at all meetings. We now ask a representative of the ASUPOL to give us a message. In this regard, we're talking to Johnson Muturi Edwin, who will be presenting to us a message from the sponsor side. So we ask, please come forward as you can present for us a message of support.
Good afternoon, comrade. Good afternoon. Good afternoon, it's still morning. Still morning. Yeah, my name is Johnson Chiri Edwin. I'm actually a representative from ASUPOL Life. I wasn't supposed to be here. My colleague was supposed to be here, but something came up, so he asked me to come and be with you guys. I just want to apologize for being a little bit late. We arrived late. So most of the things were said and we didn't manage to hear them, but we are still with you and I believe we'll catch up. So I'm sure most of you know about ASUPOL. We are an insurance company started since 1913. Before then, we were basically dealing with the police mostly. But as time went on, Ashupol was open to all public servants and other people within the South African government. So even the name itself came from, it was assurance for police. That's why it's called Ashupol. That's where it started. So with Ashupol, we just, before I even go further, I would just like to say thank you so much for giving us this chance to come and be with you this day. And mostly what we do with Ashupol, we offer a variety of products. We have funeral policies, we have life policies, we have study policies, investment, retirement annuities, and school fund providers. So, unlike my colleagues said, their own mutual, Ashupol is not that well developed when it comes to like finance department. I'm not marketing myself down, but let me just speak honestly, we're not yet there. We own mutual, it's a bit high. So we only offer those products, and we are also doing community, what do you call it? Community development, like the youth development. We also do like sponsorships, like at schools, departments, whereby you do billboards and all that. We are also recruiting those people who would like to be self-employed, like sales representatives. Mr. Mko spoke about government employees and their struggles. It's very true that with the government employees, we have seen a lot happening, whereby one salary is responsible for like about 10 family members. Truly speaking, it's not enough. So we need to get something else extra, like a side hustle, and with Ashupol, we are offering that. Even while you're at your workspace, you can still do our sales, you can still market our products, and you still earn that extra income to support your family. With regards to our product, I'm sure most of you have or might have, even if it's not with us, might have with other insurance companies. And the only difference that we have is the difference is very minimal. Like what am I going to call it now? The terms and conditions are different. Basically, the products are more or less the same. It's just like the shopping clothes. There are so good people who feel like I would like to shop at Edgar's, others at Ackerman's, others at Pep Store, depending on your nature on your what am I going to say it now? On your taste.
Affordability.
Yeah, on affordability. Thank you for that word. Yeah. So with the investment, let me just talk about the investment and the retirement annuities. With the investment, it depends on your own choice. You want to invest for what purpose? There are those people who want to invest money for building, others want to invest money for business purposes, others want to invest money for to use after their retirement. Remember, there is a retirement and there is an investment for retirement. Then with Ashupol, we can offer you that up to a minimum term of 5 years, up to a maximum term of your own choice. But now we go up to the age of 65 years. So if the older you are, the less fortunate you are to invest for a longer term. I hope you understand that. And then with the retirement, still works more or less the same. Choose your retirement age, the amount that you want to take for your retirement, amount that you want to set aside for your retirement, up to a maximum of 2,000 per month. Then the minimum term is also 5 years. So if you're, say, retiring at the age of 65 and you're 60 now, then you still qualify for a retirement and investment policy with us. Those who are younger, the better. Best to start when you're still young, because when you're still young, you pay less premiums compared to an older person, and then your term will be longer. So it means like your returns will be more compared to those who are older. Same case applies to the study policies and education policies. I have seen people coming to us when a child is already over 15 years and you want to take a study policy for that child. So normally a child does matric when they are 17, 18, at most 19 years. So when the child is 15 years and you want to do a study policy for that child, it only gives you a chance to invest for 3, 4, maximum 5 years. Even if you invest in 2,000, I'm telling you the truth, that money won't be enough to cater for that study policy for that child. So it's always good to do things when the child is still young, or when it's still early to do that product, to buy that product. Then we also have, like I said, the retirement. There is this thing of two pots thing, and I've seen it with many people. Please, my people, retirement annuities, if you have one already, that retirement annuity, I would urge you to keep it until the term. These two pot things, I've seen it, people coming to withdraw and they are giving you like maybe 5,000. Once you withdraw that money from your retirement annuity, remember it affects your lump sum at the end of the term. So I would urge people to avoid it. The people that are benefiting from that, like my colleague said there, Mr. Mufo said, it's the SARS, because those partial withdrawals will be taxed. So if it's a 5,000, they'll tax you maybe, I don't know how much, but they'll tax you for that 5,000 that you withdraw. You understand? So I would urge people to keep their investments, their retirement annuities, their school providers, because you have those partial withdrawals. I would like to urge people to keep them till their term ends. That way you get maximum benefit of your products. Then for those who might have other products like funeral policies and life policies, we will be outside there. So if you need to check your policies or check out what they are doing, then you can see us there, and then we can take you through with those policies. Thank you very much for your time. Now we'll catch up as time goes on. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Supervisor Johnson. Between me and you, my honorable comrades, let's have a consensus. The consensus is one, we allow a vote of thanks by the provincial deputy chair. After him, Nal, President Wamaloba, President Mukaila, we're taking 1 minute of leg stretch. You must sponsor it. Then come Comrade David Kaburi, and sponsor 2 minutes of smoking break. Then we ask the president officially to sponsor the 7 minutes so that we can have wellness, best way of dealing with matters. Next, between us again. Viva, Makazini, viva! Viva! Viva, Nupso, viva! Viva! Amanda! Comrade David Tapelo Mukhashwa, your turn.
members, distinguished guests, we are here now on our end of first session, open session. As we gather here, we acknowledge all the speakers who came and give us the motivation for us to change in the approach for growing Northwest bigger and bigger. Viva President, viva! Viva! Viva former President, viva! Viva! Viva Comrade Kavari, viva! Viva! Viva GEPF, viva! Viva! Viva Asupol, viva! Viva! Viva All Mutual, viva! Viva! Comrades, as I stand here, it's time for closing the open session. As we take 5 minutes break, and we are going to have a direction from the leadership as going forward. After that 5 minutes, we are going to take this session out of that. The session is closed.
Thank you very much. The session that has just closed will then have a break, and the break is 10 minutes, as sponsored by our leadership. For those who don't have time and watch, I'll give you an indication guy on my left hand to say it is the time. So we break officially, and as we break officially, may we do the same thing and the right things. Baba, respondent to nature, the Lu is here. Those who respond to the walk stretch, don't throw yourself into the water. I didn't bring my life jacket. Thank you very much. That's we pause.